welcome to Conversations in the Corner with LaTeesch Corner. This is my second season. I'm super excited, and I'm here with a special guest. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
I'm Peter Catalano, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for this second season.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I'm excited.
First episode of the second season. My first season, I just kind of went with the flow. I think the second season, I'm probably go with the flow too, but... Yeah. You know, let's see what happens.
You're good with going with the flow.
I am good with going with the flow.
Yeah. You kind of meander and you just pick up conversations.
Yeah.
Kind of comes with the territory.
It does. Yeah. So tell me, what do you do for a living?
As little as possible.
I know that's right.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I've been a financial advisor since 1992, however many years we have to add up on there. So,
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of years I've been doing this gig. So investments, insurances, planning, estate, legal, tax, cash flow. I kind of oversee all of it for my clientele.
Okay, perfect. Where are you from?
Thank you. Illinois.
Illinois,
yeah. Born and raised in Illinois. Spent my 18 years there, then moved to California. Finished my college in California, started my practice out in California, and started in San Francisco Bay Area, then moved down to Los Angeles, and then moved to Austin. Before the rest of California moved to Austin. So I was there first, or at least before the Exodus. Mm-hmm. And then from Austin came down to the Woodlands.
Okay, perfect. How long have you been in the Woodlands?
Moved here in 14, I think.
2014?
2014, I think, is when I came down.
So about 12 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Do you love it?
I do. I really like the Woodlands. It's a great place. Great place for the family, the kids, the bike trails. Even I'm in the Grogan's Mill area, and we've got a farmer's market every Saturday, which is the bomb. It's great. Right. I love it.
I've not been to the farmer's market. I need to check that out.
You need to check it out. And when you go, do you do Italian sausage?
I love Italian sausage.
Okay, so there's a guy who's a vendor there, Marchese. Italian sausage. Their what do you call it? Their kitchen is down off airport or something like that. They got a great kitchen. He makes one of the best Italian sausages out there.
Now, are they open on Sundays?
It's Saturday. So Saturday 9 to 12 right here. You know where the new Kevin Brady Center is? So we used to have like a Rando's or something here in the Grogan's Mill Shopping Center, and that shut down, and the mall kind of went downhill a little bit. I guess the owner wasn't local or something like that. So finally the city government, Hughes Corporation, bought the property, and they completely refurbished it. Looks really great now. And the farmer's market's been running there for a lot of years, but they put in, they moved the central library from it was up off of, Lake Robbins. They moved it down here, and they call it the Kevin Brady Center in name of Kevin Brady, the former congressman. And it is a really nice library.
I might go check that out.
Oh, yeah, go check it out.
I love it. I love that. Okay, so do you have any children? Are you a father?
I do. Thank you for asking. I got 3. I got 17, 15, and 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm 58.
You're 58.
Do the math on that one. Yeah.
That's not bad, though, because that means you're probably a little bit more mature when you had them.
That's one way to look at it.
And a little bit more patient.
Patient, yes. Mature, I think people would question.
Are you married?
No.
No? How long? Were you ever married?
Yeah.
How many times have you been married?
Once.
How long were you married?
14 years.
How was that?
I'm divorced.
You know? But sometimes the beginning of the relationship is like flawless, and then maybe the end wasn't that great.
It started off a little bit rocky, and then it got rockier, and that's okay. It is what it is.
Do you think that is something that a lot of us ignore? Like in the beginning of a relationship, when it's rocky, we think, oh, it'll get better, versus it not getting better, it gets rockier.
So the equivalent of red flags that we ignore? Yeah. In my situation, boring everybody with details, it was a little challenging in the beginning, and I lived in my head with it will improve, or I need to be here for it to improve. And in all fairness and all honesty, it takes 2 to tango, right? So it's not my ex's issue, it's not my issue, it's our issue, as I see it. And I definitely contributed to the demise as well.
Let me ask you this, and tell me if I'm going a little too deep. Do you think it's better to stay for the children, even though the relationship may be a little rocky, versus leaving the relationship and seeing them see you co-parent in a healed version?
Really great question. And looking back at it, I still think I still think it was the right move to divorce. I believe that was the right move. However, the divorce process is not great. I'll be nice. The divorce process in the States needs some work as far as how the law interacts.
Do you say, when you say interact, do you mean as far as like interact with the man or versus the woman? Do you think they cater to the woman more?
So I think the laws lean toward the woman more than the man. I want to be very careful when I say that because I know everybody's got their own experience, and during a divorce it tends to be highly contentious, a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of he said she said, and so I can only share my experience of it, not to say that everybody will have the same thing. I do think the law caters toward punishing men more than they need to be punished. Now, let me be clear, caveat everything. Let me be clear, there's a lot of history of men who have not stepped up after a split. And, I'm not a fan of those whatsoever. However, there's not really, you have to fight for equality, and I don't agree with having to fight for it. I don't think that's in everybody's best interest. There's some laws that are changing. If you look at some other states, and I don't remember what states off the top of my head, but a lot of the laws are changing where now divorces, from what I understand, are a mandatory 50-50 split.
Oh, wow.
And the amount and the percentage of divorces has dropped in those states by up to like 25%. So that could give an indication of how the law is not favoring equality. When you force a 50-50 split, now why get divorced? When there's not a 50-50 split, there's a lot of advantage for one side or the other to be to be left in a challenged position, right? And again, let me be clear. My situation, I made decisions based on what was in my head, what I was advised on. Other people were making decisions based on how they're advised. Their situation may be completely different.
Right.
Okay, but it's a challenge. One of the things I think is a negative is the requirement of and it's gonna, people are gonna flip out at this one, I know, but it's a requirement in the child support arena. Now, don't get me wrong, support needs to be there. Absolutely needs to be there. However, from the person paying the support, and by the way, women have to pay support in many cases as well. So this is an issue for both parties. Tends to hit men more, but women have to pay it as well. Let me be clear. The challenge is a little thing. So for example, child support payments are considered debt.
Okay.
So if a man wants to go out and he's making the child support payments, if he wants to buy a house, those child support payments apply against his what's called debt to income ratio.
Yes.
Okay. So if there is a $100,000 a year of income and he's paying $2,000 a month in child support, then he's got 100 minus 24,000. Now, if he's got, he or she, I'll be clear, okay, if he's got car payment, child support, credit card debt, all of that adds up for the debt to income.
Right.
So the idea, the intent is to create an equality between the households, right? So if there's a custodial parent, non-custodial parent, if there's a joint, which I think should be more mandatory than custodial, non-custodial. Let's say you have a custodial parent receiving the child support. You have the non-custodial parent paying that child support. Makes sense. They got to pay their dues. I get it. But now the custodial parent doesn't have tax on that income, doesn't have to report that income. It doesn't hit their DTI, debt to income ratio. And so now we get the custodian parent able to go out literally and buy a house. If they get a job, they get their income. And if their income is equal to the income of the non-custodial parent, it's almost impossible to equate a house. So now you've got kids living in a custodial parent home. What's a non-custodial parent may not be able to buy a home. How is that equal?
I get it. It can be frustrating on both parts.
It can be. And so one of the things that I'm kind of big on right now is create the equality, right? I get their hurt feelings. I get there's a lot to work through. But when you punish the custodial parent by not letting them have the financial ability to create a home equal to what the custodial parent has, how are we benefiting the kids? And here's the problem, and boy, you got me on a great subject here today. Just let me go. Here's the problem. I'm Italian, so I'm talking with my hands all the time. Just shut me up, put my hands under my legs. Here's the problem, is the courts say that they want equality between households. But the financial system does not create equality. And I don't think that's fair for the kids. They all say we got to do what's best for the kids.
Right.
But lawyers who are representatives of the courts, right, allow situations to occur that do not benefit the kids. And going a step further on that one, we can change subjects anytime you want. Going a step further on that one is if you look at studies of divorce, you'll see that non-custodial parents don't have the time with the kids. They're struggling to be with the kids. The kids really, if you really want to dig into it, you can see that the psychological impact on the kids for not having a custodial parent, this case we'll say the father nearby, because that tends to be more of what's trended, greatly impacts society. So now we have society saying, well, fathers aren't there, fathers need to be in their lives, but we have a legal system that makes it challenging for the fathers to be in their life. You can't have it both ways.
And I don't want to bring my experience in this conversation because my experience
is different.
It's completely opposite.
Sure.
Because like here I am, I have 3 children, never received child support. And
which is wrong.
And so, but I know it's a lot of women who go through that exact same thing. And so you have your situation, and then it's a lot of women that have my situation.
I know.
And it's frustrating on both parts because you have some women that I wish I could, I do feel sorry for you just a little bit because I do know what you go through on a day-to-day basis, right? And then I feel sorry for a lot of women because I know what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And I don't even know how to begin to correct that because there's so many people that the problem is everybody doesn't do what they're supposed to do.
And thank you for sharing that. And let me say this. Everybody has their experience.
You're right.
I'm not saying that your experience is to be belittled by any stretch of the imagination. Nor am I saying is it right that somebody, the father of the children didn't pay for them. I think that's wrong.
Right.
I've had the experience where, we won't go into that detail. I don't think that makes sense at all.
Right on.
Okay. And I also don't think it makes sense to punish the other side of the equation because other people
aren't doing what they're supposed to
do what they're supposed to do. So I feel for you. I do.
Right.
And I appreciate
And I feel sorry for you as well because I do know and that's why I like having these conversations with a lot of men because I feel like it's a lot of men in this world that do what they're supposed to do, but they kind of get shafted because there's so many men that don't do what they're supposed to do.
I think there's a lot of men who haven't done.
Right.
And I think I'd like to believe there's more men who will do or are willing to do if given an opportunity for equality.
Right.
but it kind of falls into can't have it both ways.
Right.
And again, I'm not belittling what you and women have gone through in dealing with, absentee fathers. It stinks.
It stinks.
I get it. It stinks. And to the men out there who are playing a game, to the men out there who are trying to work the system or not pay what you believe is owed or whatever, get over yourself, dude. Go to therapy.
Right.
Go figure it out. Right. But this anger that is held between the sexes is gotta stop eventually here.
Right.
This anger. I mean, let's look at it and not to change subjects too much.
No.
Just kind of
meander
a little bit. Let's look at it from a dating perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I look at dating, and I look at it as I see a lot of women really mad that the men aren't stepping up to be men.
Right. I'm one of them.
Tell me about that experience.
I just get tired of telling men what they're supposed to do, or in my opinion, what they're supposed to do, or what courting looks like. I'm gonna give you a perfect example.
Yeah, please.
It was a guy from New Orleans that I was absolutely, and he was insisting that I come over his house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm insisting I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So this went on for probably about 2 weeks. Like, come by, he came, had every excuse why I should come over. Let's go swimming. We can watch TV here. And I'm not interested in coming to your house. We can meet somewhere for a happy hour. We can meet somewhere for a cup of water. However, I'm not coming to your house. And I think we ended the back and forth because we couldn't reach an agreement. I wasn't coming over there and he wasn't coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Why do you think he was asking you to always go there? What was?
Because he had a motive.
Okay. And so you think the main motive was
yes.
that?
Yes.
Got it. And you were clear that's not happening.
It's not happening.
So no matter how often you invite, there's a hard no.
Because it could have been as simple as a few dates outside of your house.
Mm-hmm.
That's very simple.
So what do you think is the proper way, the courtship that you would like to see?
So, in men's defense, I know if you guys are dating 1,000,000 girls or 100 girls, I know you cannot afford, well, I'm not going to say what people can afford. I know it's not financially smart to go out and spend $100 on each person that you're dating and that's the minimum, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
I know that's not smart. I am completely open to what I call free dates.
Mm-hmm. What's a free date?
Walk around the park, walk around the mall. Let's go get our steps in.
Mm-hmm.
We can meet at Starbucks for a nice cup of free water.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of different things that you can do to get to know me outside of your household. Mm-hmm. And we're in the Woodlands, so there's a lot of places in the Woodlands that you can go hang out and just meet for a little bit of conversation. Let's start there. And then if after we get through with that, if you want to go to somewhere that costs money, let's start there. I understand that. I'm reasonable.
You are, I know. We talked a lot about this over time. I love it. We have great conversations, by the way, folks. And if you like my hair, LaTeesch is the one who does my hair. Just so we're clear who does all this. And so we've had a lot of time in conversations before this sit down. So thank you, by the way, for letting me join you on this one. This is great. So do you feel or think that there's a requirement that men need to do certain things, and what would those things be?
I would think the requirement is, if you have a daughter, right?
I do.
How would you want your daughter to be courted? Let's start there. And if you don't have a daughter, let's start with how you want to be courted.
Well, I want to do the courting.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to be courted, which I think is one of the issues
that means exactly.
All the time, right?
I think that's exactly an issue. But if you are that man, necessarily you want to be the courter, right?
Sure. But
start with what you would want me to do for you if the roles were reversed.
So can I put a twist on that?
Please.
So by the way, I was smirking because my son, who's 17, was dating somebody recently, and he called me up and he said, "Dad, the girl he's seen, her dad is coming to meet him at my son's work." And he goes, "Well, what should I do and how should I be?" And I get it. And I'm smirking because what I told him was, well, how would you want somebody to treat your sister? And he's like, oh, I get it. And I go, treat her that way, and your dad will be cool. You know, and so he gets it. He's really good with his sister, obviously. I also want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we could go down an interesting direction. I'm curious what kind of response we get. I think there's a mix-up, a challenge, however we want to look at it, in defining roles, in masculine and feminine roles, right? And I think there's, from my perspective, if the masculine is going to court, then the feminine needs to receive.
Right.
Right. So it's not so much how would somebody want to court me, because I don't want to be courted. I don't want to be in the receiving end.
Right.
I prefer to be in the direction end.
Right.
Right. So what am I willing to do to be the courter? And one of the things that's come up recently, and how I think is a word of containment. So I've been using this word containment a lot lately, and I'm contained in how I hold my boundaries, how I present myself in a courtship. Right. So number one, there's no inviting to the house. I mean, come on, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Right. Number two, if I'm choosing to go to dinner, then I'm going to choose the location.
Right.
Okay. I've run into situations, well, in the past, hasn't been recently, where I'll say, let's go to dinner, and the response was, great, I want to go here. My response to that is, you go have a good time.
Right.
Right. Because you don't get to tell me where I spend my money.
Exactly. I agree with that.
So now, we're not going to talk
about. But I do get to choose if I want to go. That's what people don't understand.
Absolutely. Well, so here's a way I word it, by the way, and it works for me. I don't work for you or work for you guys. I word it in the realm of, well, how do you feel about Italian?
Right.
How do you feel about Chinese? How do you feel about Mexican? How do you feel about whatever? Right? And I position it that way as well, I'm really not hungry for Chinese tonight. Oh, great. How do you feel about Italian? God, I would love Italian tonight. Great. That still gives me the option of picking the Italian restaurant.
Right.
Right. As opposed to, where I really don't want to be at Nona's, I want to be over here at Adriatic Cafe. Well, I don't want to go to Adriatic Cafe.
Right.
But you picked it. So if I say, how do you feel about Italian? Love Italian. I'll go to Adriatic Cafe. It's Italian. Hopefully you'll like it.
Right.
But I'm not going to, go down the road of, well, is Adriatic Cafe okay? Is Nona's okay? Is this okay? Well, come on.
Be just direct. Let's go.
Correct. Right. And I also like the approach. I think it makes sense where let's just start off with a walk. Cup of coffee, smoothie, hit the waterway, take a walk. Now, I get a lot of pushback on that, by the way.
And I know a lot of women that give a lot of pushback on that. I remember I was hooking, I hope she doesn't watch this, I was hooking a woman up with one of my customers, and they called while they were here. And he said, oh, I'm going to be in town. How about if we go out for a cup of coffee? And she said, I don't do coffee.
I hear that.
Now, I respect her answer.
Sure.
That's just not something I would do, because coffee to me seems very fast. It's easy. If I don't like him, great, I can get out of there.
Wow.
If I do like him, we can do something different. But dinner, that means I might be stuck with you for an hour. I might not want to be stuck with you for an hour.
I agree 100%.
And then too, I don't think women, in men's defense, I don't think women consider the climate that we're in. I seen a video on Instagram, and this woman was going off about how young girls were expecting her son to take them to restaurants that they don't even go to. They can't necessarily afford them on their own. Their father's never taken them to their restaurant. But
so the girls want the boyfriend
to take them to these high-end restaurants that they've never been to. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's fair.
No, there's some parenting issues there.
I think we should be fair when we're seeking out our mates, and we're requiring these dates and matching up what they do for a living. If you know, I'm just going to throw this out, City of Houston. I don't know how much the City of Houston makes, but let's just throw it out there. He might just have a basic salary. I'm not going to expect him to take me to Nobu
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Nobu, but I've heard it's a little bit more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm saying that right. But I'm going to follow his lead because he knows what he can afford.
Well, and I think the key word that you just said there's the key is his lead. So I wonder, and I'm hoping this is switching. Gentlemen, take this grain of salt. Lead. And lead does not mean dominate.
Right.
It doesn't mean direct. It doesn't mean control. It means lead.
Right.
So invite. Be the courtship, not the other guy who invites to the room
or the house, right? To go swimming like we're 16.
Exactly, right.
Like, stop playing.
I mean, exactly. I'm going to say our age, but I'm 58, so at 58,
I'm 46. I'm not going swimming. Thank you. I'm not going swimming at your house.
No, that's not going to happen. Nor should you be invited to that. And I think therein lies the challenge. I think men I'll say this too, don't be discouraged, because there are a lot of women out there who want to direct, who want to tell you what to do. If it's not a fit for you, it's not a fit. Because and we're probably running out of time, but I think one of the challenges, we can talk another time, is when the woman wants to direct. Here's what I run into. The woman wants to be in charge, but wants the man to lead. And it's hard to do that. The analogy I like to give is, imagine you're driving a car. Both of you cannot be behind the wheel.
I agree.
Right? So one's got to set the destination, one's got to be able to drive down the road, and you got to have somebody navigate.
Passenger princess.
Right? But that navigator's got to be able to say, hey, wait a minute, we got a turn coming up in 2 hours. Hey, wait a minute, the road's blocked. Oh, I'm on, nowadays.
I call it the first mate.
Yeah, I love it, right?
I call it the first mate. I want to be a first mate.
You want to be a first mate. Now, here's what the way I see it is that's going to eventually switch off and go back and forth.
Right.
It will be needed, right? Because at some point, you're going to have to drive the car. The person's going to get tired, drive the car, and let the person navigate. Be in charge at that point. Right? The skipper of the ship is the one who tells you what to do. You follow that lead. You don't argue with them, right? And same in that. And I like to see the relationships in that form. And I think the trick with that is one is not better than the other. Right? So the navigator is absolutely necessary to figure out how to get where we're going to go. The driver is absolutely necessary to do the work and set the vision.
Right.
There's a book called From Good to Great, came out a long time ago. Jim Collins, I believe is the name, who wrote it. And he did a great analogy in there. He goes, look, the CEO, the visionary, drives the bus.
Right.
They know where they're going. But you've got to put not just people in the seats on the bus. You got to put the right people in the right seats on the bus who will follow that vision. I go down the road of and some people may blow a gasket on this, but let the man set the vision. You set how we're going to achieve that vision together. And I find that dynamic can work. I think you get something that can move forward.
I completely 100% agree with you. And that is exactly the relationship I want. The problem I run into is when they don't, A, have the vision, B, don't know where they're going, and they're just stuck on, I'm a man, and you do what I say. No, sir, I'm not going to let you lead me to swampland. I'm not going there. Right. Now, if I know I want to be on board, I want to follow, I want to be the first mate, I don't want to listen. I mean, I want to listen, I don't want to think. Right? And I don't think people understand that about me, because a lot of people say that I'm too independent. I'm only independent because I have to be.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Not just from you, but...
Right. I have to be. I'm a single mother of 3 children I've had to raise alone. Right? The strength had to come from somewhere. But now that my youngest is 17, I'm ready to sit down and shut up and be the passenger. Right? And I want you to tag me in when you need me.
But that's a hard transition. So your look is
for
great.
Who?
I love it. I think it's a hard transition for you. Well, you're going from being this single mom, raising the kids. Now you got a 17-year-old. You're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're seeing that, empty nester coming out. But you've had so many years being in charge, being in control, being the manager, that giving it up, but relinquishing it Oh, you're giving me the look. So it's
I
not.
want to relinquish it, but I have to relinquish it to the right person.
Okay.
I would love to turn over this but you have to be the right. I cannot.
So how does he need to show up for you? What does he?
Just be
What
smart.
does he need to say?
Be smart. Make good financial decisions.
Well, I love that about you, by the way. Your viewpoint on money, if I may, is awesome. As a financial advisor, I can tell your viewpoint on money is awesome. LaTeesch comes in from an aspect of don't waste money, be smart with your money. You actually respect somebody. You respect men more who are wise and frugal. If I may use the word frugal, than the spender.
Yes.
By the way, you're unique.
Thank you.
So all the guys out there, I'm telling you, you're not. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. So, but that makes a lot of sense. So really, the question is, can a guy show up in your world who you respect?
Yes. I would rather the man who drives a 1976 pickup truck. He's been at the city of Houston for 30 years. He lives in his grandmother's house that he got gifted. He inherited the house. It's paid off. Yeah. He walks around in t-shirts and flip-flops on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And he just wants to sit on the porch and drink coffee.
Mm-hmm. There's a book years ago that came out. I just lost it. Millionaire Next Door. And the description of the millionaires at the time, this book came out in the 90s. You know what the average car of the millionaire? Mm-hmm. A Ford F-250.
I believe it.
Right? Because they're not out there spending a bunch of money on things they really can't afford anyway. And they're keeping their money held. Mm-hmm. And, in this case, it's function over form. I admit, I'm a Leo. I have a little form thing going on, so I like nicer cars. I'm willing to spend the money on the car, but that's about it. Right? I don't need to spend anywhere else. So I think conversation we could have at another point would be, what does a man need to show to lead in your head?
Smart decisions.
Yeah.
Just smart. Just be smart. And I don't know if he's gonna watch this because we're enemies right now, but it's a man that I know, and I might have told you about him before.
You could.
We were dating for a little bit, and one of the key turnoffs for me was his mortgage was $3,000. Mm-hmm. That is a big turnoff for me, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't ever want to be responsible for that. So if anything, let's say me and him get married, or we start dating and I move in with him, and anything happens to him, I'm now responsible for that $3,000 plus whatever other things that he has going on. I don't want that over my head.
You're saying if he takes a big dirt nap, you're responsible?
Anything. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Is that because that $3,000 is daunting? Or you just
I just don't think it's a smart decision.
Too much money.
$3,000 a month for shelter? I just don't think that's necessary.
Well, it's in relation though with income side, right? So financial advisor over here, right? So my head goes to, in order to qualify for $3,000 a month, with the way the mortgage people work, and I'm not a mortgage person, but I deal with a lot of them. They've got to have at least twice that income to support $3,000
right.
in property taxes, mortgage. I'm assuming that $3,000 including all that taxes, HOA. So that person's doing at least 6, probably more like 7 for the mortgage company a month to support that.
Right. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Got it. So is it the 3,000 or is it the?
It's the mental behind the 3,000.
That's where
I just don't think. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You should. So there's a phrase I use all the time as an advisor. It's never about the money. It's the emotion behind it.
Yes.
So there's an emotional trigger, lack of a better phrase, that is hitting you when you see a $3,000 a month mortgage.
And it's not. And I don't think the house matches the mortgage. I just don't think the whole situation was a good idea.
So you want a man who is wise with his spending, more on a conservative, frugal side, not conservative politically, but conservative, frugal side, who you will respect, is the one who says, is the one who doesn't have to make 100 grand or 200 grand a year, but knows how to manage that properly.
Exactly.
Did I get it right?
You hit nail on the head. He could make $20,000 a year and live below those means, right?
And you're good.
I'm so good, because guess what? We're going to figure out how to make that work.
Yeah, you talked a lot about that in the past, and I like the activities that because for you, it's about the quality. Is that your love language?
Yes, quality time. But I tell people this all the time. One of the things that really bothers me about men, especially when we're dating or courting, the men who don't do the free things naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Pumping gas.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even necessarily have to volunteer to pay for it. But if you don't say, hey, what time are you pumping gas? Or what does your gas tank look like? Let me meet you at the store so I can pump your gas. That would be a big turn on for me.
So acts of service is a big thing for you.
And a lot of people, I'm big on good morning, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've mentioned that several times.
If you don't text me good morning, beautiful, keep on going. I don't care. I have another man, and I know he'll never watch this, so I don't have to worry about it. He's dating. We're not dating anymore. I'm done with it. But every 3 months, he'll send me $100. I could give a damn about your money when you could have texted me good morning 90 times versus that $100.
Okay, so I got to ask this question. Why aren't these men showing up at your door? Because, I mean, I've been here, 3 years now. You've been dealing. By the way, the reason I'm still with LaTeesch over 2 or 3 years is just like my personality, my hair has some challenges, and she's the only one who's been able to
tame it.
Tame's a great word.
Thank you.
Tame it, and I think that makes sense in relationship, and it's not taming in a browbeating. You don't tame my hair, cutting it all off. You work with it,
right?
And this is what I think is a possible analogy I'm just making up as I go along, in relationships as well. And I think in relationships, people try to tame from a power standpoint versus working with and understanding how the person communicates. People who tell me 58 years old, Leo, Sicilian, telling me what to do, ain't gonna work. No, it ain't gonna work. And I know that about me. And I'm really good at one of my favorite lines a coach gave me a while ago, 20 years ago. It's okay to have a thought you don't express. I'm getting better at that, folks. But knowing how to say something in the manner that he or she is going to hear it is the key. But here's the thing I think you do really well. I may have mentioned this to you before, but if not, hopefully it's new. You have a unique gift of respect. You know that? Yeah. So in all of the conversations we've had about, the ones you've shared with me, some of the men you've been privileged to date you, you show respect. That's a missing.
Thank you. I do until I don't.
Well, I think that's natural for people, right? Assume. But what happens when a woman falls out of respect for the man?
It's done.
It's done. Game over.
And I remember I was accused. Matter of fact, the guy who sends me money every 3 months, he accused me one time of not respecting him. And it broke my heart. And I'm going to tell you why it broke my heart. It really bothered me because I'm raising 2 men. And I want to respect them to the fullest, and I want them to know what respects look like. So when respect is missing, they know when to leave the relationship. And he came back and told me that he was wrong about that statement. But I'm glad you said that because I do respect men. I love men. And I want them to feel that love and respect. And I don't think they all the time receive that.
So I think there's a big challenge in community and society today where, and chicken or the egg, folks. Okay, so there's, again, just like divorce, there's blame could go everywhere. Men have lost how to earn and be respected, and women have lost how to respect them. So, look, it's real simple. When a man is respected, he feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, if a woman loses respect for the man, she's game over anyway.
Right.
So respect toward the man is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but here's the side that's missing. What is a man bringing back
to the woman? What is he bringing back to me?
I'm use the word cherishing. I use the word cherish. I think when a woman respects the man, it gives him that confidence. He'll go out and attack the lion and bring home the food so he can cherish you. Now, we can split hairs on the word respect because a lot of women I talk to say, well, I want to be respected too. Well, if you're both trying to be respected using the word and the definition,
right,
it's going to be hard. Again, both can't drive the wheel of bride as a passenger.
Right.
But if the woman can respect the man, trust me, the man then will cherish her. Now, what do you get in cherish? There's an element of respect and cherishing. But now we get the protection. We get the love. We get that place where she can feel safe and secure in that relationship with that man. So if you're willing to just respect the guy, I believe he'll come back and cherish you. And the thing I hear, and folks, correct me if I'm wrong, the thing I hear a lot from women is they want to feel safe, secure, and protected.
That's it.
And provided for.
Provided.
Right.
Protected, yes.
Yeah, I should say both of them in there. And now the provision is where people get wonky as well. Because then we get into I want to be provided for in that $3,000 house versus I want to just be provided for to take a walk. I get it, guys, you need to talk to. Anyways, so the protection, the provision, the safety, the security, the love, that comes to you when the man is respected. Now, we've talked about this before, and this is a hard one to do. Once you have a commitment, once you have a committed relationship, and I think we may be different on this if I recall correctly, if the man goes out of respect, what do you do?
What do you mean if he goes out of
respect? If the respect for that man goes away,
I'm a ship jumper.
You're running. You're out of here.
Well, and I will say, I am a ship jumper, very much so. I own it.
You own it.
But I will give you a moment to correct the route.
Okay.
Like, I won't run immediately, but I have to be comfortable in life. I want to be comfortable. I work 7 days a week so I can be comfortable. And if he does anything to take away from that comfort, I'm jumping ship.
I got it. So this is where I think there's a challenge, because I think when a commitment is made and the man loses respect, I stand that in the commitment we have to find a way to get it back.
And I agree with you if he's doing things that align with getting it back.
Understood.
If you're still making bad decisions that's sending us in the wrong direction of where I want to go,
then you're not going to respect them anymore.
I have to get off the boat.
All right. So what I'm hearing is, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is you'll give the man the opportunity to regain that respect.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna tell you, this is something I love telling my son. Everybody makes mistakes. Sure. It's what happens after you make the mistakes that determines who you are.
Right.
I make literally 99% of my problems are self-inflicted, where I did something without thinking, and I'm like, oh, I should have did that. But it's too late. I've already done it. So how I correct it is what gets me out of trouble sometimes.
Well, and it's a whole nother topic we could go down, because there's the belief structure of you want to fail and fail often. And the learning is in the failing.
Oh, yeah.
You learn so much when you fail. And whether the divorces, I've learned so much in my divorce. I failed so much in that marriage. I get it. I own it. And it's hard to learn from it. But how else are you going to learn if you don't experience some sort of hardship with it, right?
That's what I tell a lot of people this. It's not necessarily that I'm smart. It's that I just do it. And then I'm like, ooh, I'm not going to do that again. And then I do something else. Like, ooh, don't do that. And so that's just what it is. Okay, so as long as he does what he's supposed to do and just brings it back, I have no problem trying to stay together.
And I agree. I think what my request is looking at it from what you both need to do. Because two to tango, right?
Yeah.
And my mom used to say, God rest her soul, my mom used to always say, you're not the first, you won't be the last.
Right.
Right? It's going to take two of you to make that happen.
Right.
And if we start blaming one or the other, or an expectation of one or the other, then we've lost the commitment. We've lost the two. You know, and that's where I think there's some real growth is the admission of, you know, I had 25% of this, I had 50% of this, I had 75% of this, but there's still somebody else there to work it out.
Right.
And that's stand in the commitment.
Well, this has been amazing, and we are going to have to rebook because I think we are already we are over an hour.
Yeah, we can cut most of this.
So we're not gonna cut nothing, but I am going to invite you back so we can do, because we didn't even touch on 50% of the stuff that I wanted to talk to you about.
Listen, you pick a topic and I have an opinion.
So I'm so excited. So I'm gonna probably invite you back this season because I definitely want to talk to you some more. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for letting me be here.
Yeah.
And folks, really, seriously.
Well, thank you, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Love you. Thank you much.